now listening to the #1 show in Lake County, The Crazy Riot Show.
Yo, what's good? It's the BoyLosCrazy. You in the building. I'm in the building with a very special guest. A long-awaited interview.
Yeah.
From the great is in the building right now. QuarterThaGreat.
Yo.
I appreciate you coming through, big dog.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me, brother.
Straight. I've been waiting for this one, though, bro.
I know.
I ain't gonna lie. It's been a lot of interviews I've done, but I've been waiting on this one.
I told you it had to make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do it for nothing.
Right.
Like, it had to make sense.
Right.
I also gave you my word some years ago
that
once that door get open for me, you'll be one of the first people to interview me.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. And that door is open for you.
That door is definitely open.
So
definitely open.
On that, man.
Appreciate you.
But I gotta go back because there's so much history, so many stories. You probably won't get to all of them.
No.
But when did you know you were an MC? When did that happen for you? What was going on at the time?
9 years old. My cousin Carmen, she was a hip hop fanatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She listened to everything. First time I ever heard Run DMC was on a record from her. So, funny story. Her, my sister, and I believe Nikki, they snuck me in to see Crush Groove. And this was when, I'm about to date myself, but it's cool.
Keep going.
This was when the movie theater was at the Belvedere Mall, right? So they snuck me in to see Crush Groove, and I wasn't supposed to see it. Right. But that was the best thing that ever happened. Two things I remember. Number one was the Fat Boys. It's the first thing I remember. Right. Number two was pulling up to the movie theater, right? Outside the movie theater. Bomber jackets, fat ropes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was fresh as fuck. You feel me? Curls and shit. You feel me? But it was hip hop everywhere, right? My sister and them had the bamboo earrings and shit with the crazy hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I was in awe. Like, this is dope, right? So then we see Crush Groove, and I seen these fat dudes. You know what I'm saying? And they was nice. Like, there was a beatbox, the human beatbox, you know what I mean? Then there was a light-skinned dude and a dark-skinned dude. And I'm like, damn, my cousin Lunch Meat could beatbox. So that's really how it all started. I went to the crib, I was like, Demetrius, man, get in that corner right there and beatbox. And he got in the corner, he beatboxed. It echoed South School. So, you know, when you're going into South School and the entrance, what entrance is that? The entrance where the brick wall is at, right? Demetrius used to stand right there in that corner and beatbox, and I would stand right there and I'd rap. So, 10 years old is when I knew I had it. You know what I mean? When I knew I wanted to do it. Right. I didn't know I had it until maybe 11. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's a pretty young age.
Well, because I used to battle. Like, that was my thing. Like, as a kid, I used to battle older people. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I believe maybe 11. Yeah, I was probably 10 or 11. And I can always remember these things because I was a kind of bad kid in school. Right. So I could go back to, all right, so I went to this school when this happened, and I went to this school when this happened. Right. So I won't name the person, but he was an older kid. And I had been trying to get to him for a while, right? And he was the best in the high school. It was cold. So I got to him. I found out they was having open gym at Neil one day. Right. And Timon came and got me. Timon, AJ. We all went up to Neil for the open gym, but that ain't what I went for. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see him, right? Yeah. And if you remember these things, you're going to know who I'm talking about, because he had this one line. Every time he battled, he would say something about throwing somebody mama from the train. So I was already ready for that. Right? I killed him. But I was just, a young, you know what I'm saying, a little young guy that could just rap off the top of I never wrote anything down. It was all off the top. Right. I don't believe I wrote my first rap till I was maybe 15 or 16, maybe. Maybe. But every time, it was just off the top, bro. Right.
So what was the vibe like at that time? You're talking about 11 years old. This guy that you battled at Open Gym, it seems to be like it was stuff going on. It was It was other battles going on at other places.
Well, yeah.
What was these locations? What were these? Who were these people that?
It was a lot of block shit. Like, you know, I'm from 23rd. You had the Hilltop Boys. You had the EG and them over here on Hervey. You know what I'm saying? So it was like sections in North Chicago, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like sections, and we was 23rd Street. We was on the other side of Martin Luther King. And at the time, it wasn't even called Martin Luther King. It was 22nd Street. Right. You know, people say, right up that street. There's a lot of memories on that street because my cousin Mike Brown used to stay up that street. So we used to do everything there. And he was the oldest, but he died, you know, so, and that changed everything for real. But anywhere, bro, high school games, Neil Open Gym, the youth center. I battled niggas outside the youth center, in front of the youth center. It was for the youth, bro. Straight up. Yeah. Swimming pool, locker room for the swimming pool. And the old library over there, you know what I'm saying? Off by Park. Man, come on, bro. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
So who was these characters in this story at that time?
It wasn't a lot, though.
Okay.
That was the thing. It was like people were just picking it up because it was the thing to do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of those dudes don't even have anything to do with music right now.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And I always say, a lot of people, they didn't want it as much as I did. Because I seen something more to it. You feel me? Like, I never wanted to be better than everybody here.
Right.
I want to be better than whoever the world thought was the best.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So, I studied Run from Run DMC. I studied LL. You know what I'm saying? Kane. You feel me?
Right.
And what I did was I would write their shit down, even though I never wrote. I would write their shit down.
Wow.
Like, how did they write this? Like, how did they come up with this? So I became a mad scientist trying to figure out different flows and patterns and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I took from Run DMC is whenever I battled, if I went first, you had an advantage, a slight advantage. But my memory was so good, if you went first, I would dissect everything you said. But I knew from Run DMC, I always wanted to come off of the person I was battling, like Run came off DMC. So I would always cut him off. And I was loud. My voice, I knew how to, you know what I mean? Like, you've recorded with me before. I still do it to this day. But just young, picking that shit up. You feel me? So, when I was young, it wasn't really, it was, you know, the older cats like Wiz and, you know, Walkside, you know what I mean? Because they was they was doing hip hop. Like, I don't want to get the names wrong, so I won't say the names. But it was some cats from the south side of Waukegan that had got signed to a group, you know, these guys named Rodney and Joe Cooley back in the day. They had a real popular song called Everlasting Bass. So they were technically the first people from Lake County to be on a major label.
Hip hop or just?
Yeah, hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah. Rodney and Joe Cooley. What were their names? I feel terrible because I don't remember their name, but it was so long ago. But yeah, man, they were actually on the album cover, the Rodney and Joe Cooley album cover.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just little shit like that. And my sister and them, you know, they hung out on the west side. They hung out with the, you know, I don't want, you know, I can't because they older and I don't want to implicate them, but, you know, they hung out with those guys.
Yeah.
So I was young, you know, my sisters, all of my cousins and shit, they fucked with everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I just, you know, Gary Charleston, and that's how I met, may his soul rest in peace, Big Jokes. And so I was kind of a young kid, but I was kind of intertwined in what was going on. You know, my cousin was Kenny, and he was somebody, and he clicked up with the X and then before the X was the X.
Right.
You know, when they did their GD thing, and you know what I'm saying? So it was the MMOB, and then you had the Vice. I remember when it was Kingsmen and G-Men, and before niggas was really gang banging. I remember that. And I was a kid, though. Wow. But I just soaked it all up because I was always I was very observant. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to know what was going on. Like, if my cousin and them hanging out, I'm sitting by the window listening. Like, what are they talking about? You know what I'm saying?
And where did it become a competitive thing? Well, obviously, the battling kind of took it to another
Right.
level. But when did something happen to you? Like, yo, I can actually be an artist in a way, like go to the next level with it.
Man, me, AJ, and Qua, man. Just being on the block. Once it became cool, because it's always a backstory to it all, right? I've been a fat kid forever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you when I got popular was one day we was at the youth center. And they would always, I would always be the butt of the joke. Because, everybody cracking jokes, and then I'm the fat kid, so I'm laughing hard.
Right.
And it was always, man, what you laughing at? You know what I'm saying? And then they just go in. So I said to myself, I need to figure out a way to make a motherfucker feel bad about picking me to be the person. So I invented what you call rap cracking. And I would break a nigga down, but rhyming, breaking him down. First person I got was Troy Finley.
Okay.
Right? You know who that is, right?
I don't know.
First person I got, he go watch this and go laugh. First person I got was Troy Finley at the youth center, outside. And after that, it was just like, Big Sean can rap. You know what I'm saying? Because they seen it on TV and they listened to it on the radio. But then for me to be able to take it and be as good or better than what they was hearing on, I've always had the ability to do that because I was never trying to be better than people around me. I was always trying to be better than who the best was. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how that's really how it started for me, man. James Muhammad was actually the first person to ever record my vocals.
Okay.
And I believe I was 12, maybe, 13, maybe. And he was the first person to ever record my vocals in his basement at the crib over there on the block, Sherman. And when I heard myself on tape for the first time, I'm like, okay, cool, okay. All right. Yeah,
it was industry level. Right?
Yeah, I think per what I was listening to, I'm like, all right, I think I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So I just started doing it, bro. I had AJ, I had the people around me. Everybody wanted to be football, basketball.
What was Quad doing? Were they rapping with you?
No, they didn't. When I first started, bro, it was really just me. Everybody else just kind of played with it. You know what I'm saying? But AJ was real good at football. That was his thing. He played for North Chicago High School. He was lightning fast. His dream was to be to play for the Bears. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to play football. Qua was always a street nigga.
Right.
Always, from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? He was always
Qua
Leon.
Okay.
He always had a pack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was always working. Right? So I would always be at Jay crib, because I was like my right hand man. I would always go to AJ house. And one day I was like, man, AJ, you should write a rap, bro. And I still remember the first rap AJ wrote. To this day, I'll never forget it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I could recite it word for word, and this was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
But he was like, man, I might try, G. So he called me one day. He was like, I got it. Now, a little known fact is AJ wrote a rap before I did. After AJ wrote a rap, I'm like, I guess I got to write one too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we would record ourselves on this karaoke machine. Real shit. At the time, Poo Poo had a record label. You know who Poo Poo is, right?
No.
That's crazy. Poo Poo had a record label, police officer, actually. Okay. And he had Full Deck signed. And Full Deck was Puma Cat,
I've heard of him.
Wiz, Big Gilbert.
Puma been going for a while.
Puma is, and Dooley. Puma is a forefather.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because he was doing it before I was doing it, right? Because I was still just rapping outside, you know what I mean? I did the one tape with James, and then I was just still, battle rapping and just rapping with the homies, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I had got to a point, I was bad though, bro. I'm serious. I got banned from every school in Lake County when I came out of 8th grade. So I had to go to a bad kid school.
Right.
And that kind of changed everything for me because I had a very bad temper. It was terrible. And I was told I was told I had to see a counselor. And my counselor told me, you should write out your emotions instead of, you know, projecting them. You should, whenever you get upset, write that shit down, write it down. So she's actually the person that basically made me start writing down my emotions. And I'm like, I'm writing these emotions down. I might as well make this shit rhyme. You know what I'm saying? So I would write the stuff out. She would read it and she was like, okay, this is good. And then I would turn it into like a poem, you know, and it went from poetry to rhyme, you know. But then I had stopped. I'm like, man, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this. This shit ain't, fuck this shit, man. Nobody want to make me beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool on this shit. So, my boy Freddie Free, rest in peace. My boy Freddie Free one day, and I'm bouncing around right now. But my boy Freddie Free one day, he was like, man, Z, you need to rap. For real. Like, for real, for real. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I said, I ain't gonna never make this kind of money rapping. I pulled out a knot. I was, you know, I was doing my thing back then. And he was like, man, I'm telling you, man, you better than everybody I've heard. And he was in that circle because DJ Dre was his mans and they were DJs. So he was in that circle. So he was like, I say, man, niggas ain't gonna make me beats, bro. Like, these niggas don't want it. I sell weed, bro. I don't fucking, you know what I'm saying? I freestyle. I get on the karaoke and make a tape and give it to the homies. I'm cool. I'm cool with, you know, I was just cool. I was content with making music for my homies. Right. You know what I'm saying? So a phase all artists go through, right? So I was just content with making music for the homies, but I still sharpen my sword because I love music, right? And you think about it, it's, you know, I was listening to, like, you know, NWA had just hit DOC, so I'm like, this is my type of shit because I'm doing this shit for real, right? So Freddie Free was like, man, meet me behind the cemetery in North Chicago tomorrow, and I'm going to introduce you to my boy. I said, behind the cemetery? No, fuck, we going behind the cemetery. Free said, nah, bro, trust me. You know him. You know what I'm saying? But he make beats. He just got a drum machine, woo-wop the woo, he make beats. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go to his crib, and when I'm walking in, this little short motherfucker is walking out. The little short motherfucker just so happened to be Bad. Right? And you know who Bad is, of course. So that person, I had no idea who he is, but Fred knew him. So Fred said something to him. I'm still walking to the front door. Dredd came out. We was going to Demond house. Dredd, DJ Dredd. So we go in the Dredd crib. You know, Dredd said, I got something on right now. You want to just take the mic and do your thing to it. So I'm like, yeah, cool. Now, you remember the scene? You seen the Notorious Big movie? Yes. You remember the scene where he went to Mr. C crib and they hooked up the tape player and he started same exact shit. Yeah. Same shit. What I didn't know was, little known QuarterThaGreat Big Sean fact, Bad had actually laid the strings and shit on that beat. That's why he was leaving. He had already. So the first track I ever rapped to was produced by Bad and Dredd. Wow. I recorded it that day. It was called 187 Killer. Right? Straight up, no lie. I got a tape. Freddie Free got a tape. Now, at the time, Freddie Free was like B-Rock. You know how B-Rock, you can get whatever music you need from. Freddie Free was the man for tapes. He would get you everything. Fred was getting music that we never even, like, first time I heard C-Boy was from Fred. E40 Fred. Wu-Tang Fred. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was the source. And he was my man, though, my man. And so that song, it was 187 Killer, and then we did Gas Tank. Those two songs circulated through the hood so fast, bro. Like, you could literally pull up to the light and the motherfucker in the car next to you banging that shit. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it was at that point I'm like, I could do this shit. Yeah, I could really do this shit. And then things started happening. They opened up this spot called the 20 Below. I've heard about that. Yeah. 20 Below in Waukegan. The owner of the 20 Below, I would go up there and rap, do my thing. And I was so popular, I brought a crowd. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this was before social media. That's why I always say, I was popping before popping was popular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was word of mouth. It wasn't I didn't have to stand on top of a soapbox and scream my name.
Right.
It was word of mouth.
Right.
Now, mind you, you paying attention? I haven't dropped anything but these 2 songs. Right? So my name is already carrying all of this weight in North Chicago, because as we got older and Wiz and them kind of stopped doing their thing, and Walk Side kind of bagged up and started bringing up younger niggas and shit like that. It wasn't really a lot of people representing. Like, it was me, and before me actually, it was Action, D-Reb, before soul rest in peace, Action and Reb, the DBC Boys and Zion, and then Dead Body Click.
Okay.
Now that was Bad and them crew.
Right.
Bad and Ronzel produced the Dead Body Click, which was like a crosstown rival.
Right.
Because at the time it was North Chicago versus Waukegan versus Zion.
Right.
It was never really a big united thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So once I started doing my thing, I just started noticing more people doing their thing, like Big Ike, rest in peace, Gumpy, the whole 377 thing, the Bogus Boys. It's like
Gumpy, he was a drummer.
Yeah, Gumpy was a drummer, but he was also hands down one of the coldest producers. Like, he was nice, bro. Like, he was nice. And his brother is Nick. What's his name on the book? Nick Flair. Nick Flair is his little brother. Nick Flair is Gumpy's little brother.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So Gump was crazy with it too, bro. Like, so the 20 Below days, I actually had a crib on Park. And I was still halfway in, halfway out. I was still doing my thing on the green side and, doing the music on the other side.
Right.
But it was just 20 Below performances, shit like that.
20 Below? What is that?
20 Below it's actually a car lot now. It's on Green Bay Road. You know where, so Jewel is right here. What's the restaurant right next to Jewel?
Jack's Pizza.
Jack's Pizza. Across the street, up the street past I want to say past that bank right there. A little bit past that bank. It's a car lot up there.
On the right side?
Yeah, going north on Green Bay.
Right.
It was right there. That little car lot. It was dope though.
Nice.
And I kind of ran it kind of. You know what I'm saying? It was a white guy who owned it. I can't remember his name, but it was a white guy who owned it. And yeah, man, we would just pack it out, man.
And they would let you perform your records. Right?
Yeah. And it wasn't really, at the time, I didn't really have songs. I had 187 Killer, I had Gas Tank, and then everything else I ever did after 20 Below was a freestyle. Everything, right? But I had built up this. It was this demand, and like everybody was coming. Like, there would be chicks that would airbrush my name and my face on their shit.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it was like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was real live. So the way it got dope was, the owner told me one day, he was like, "Hey man, the night you here is bumping, but the next night, Saturday nights, it's not so live."
Right.
He said, "Can you come perform on Saturday night and bring some people in for me?" I said, "Well, if I do that, I got to get VIP treatment on my night."
Yeah.
He was like, "Whatever you need, whoever you come with, you get in the door, you pass the line." Like, it was a line, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we would pull up, and at the time I had a station wagon and I had a 79 Jeep Cherokee. And they, I would have my crew, it was like 7 or 8 of us. And, we'd pull up. So that one night I did the performance. They promoted it. And I did the performance, and it was packed out.
Yeah. So
he felt like he owed me. So from that night on, I should have made that motherfucker give me some money for it. Now, straight up. But I was cool on that. I was cool on the money side, right? I wasn't looking to get paid. I was already okay. And I wasn't even paid. I was cool. I didn't.
How old were you at this time?
19 maybe.
Okay. So you
20?
didn't even supposed to be in that right now.
It's 20 Below. It was for
20
listen,
below,
man. Listen,
20
man.
below.
Listen.
Oh, so it was 20 age below.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
But let me tell you though, it was niggas in that motherfucker that was 33. You know how it is out here, man. It's been the same, bro. It was grown ass niggas in there drinking peppermint snaps and shit. But you know,
that's cool.
How old was I, man? Because I wasn't quite. I think I was a little older than 20.
Yeah.
Because I left to Memphis in '97. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was about 19, maybe 19, 20, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, and the way my name became legend, man, is I used to battle people in the 20 below.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So one night, and I believe this is the night it got shut down. One night, I won't say no names, but these guys from the city came. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Quan Gordon, he was plugged in with a lot of the people in the city on the west side. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was really plugged in. So he would get artists to come down. Triple Darkness came down. Nice. Psychodrama came down. Nice. You know, different artists that were big in the city. D-Fly. They would come down to the 20 below and perform. Nice. You know what I'm saying? And they had a downstairs, and they had a, you know, where they could get the little dressing room for privacy. And it was dope. Yeah. But my guy my DJ was the DJ. DJ Dredd was my DJ, and he was the DJ of the 20 below. Right. Him and Lil Fred. And it's funny because Bad actually used to be an exceptional dancer. No, listen, bro. Like, Bad was cold. Like, they was cold with the whole pop locking and the whole. They was cold. An exceptional dancer. It's footwork, cold, bro. Him and Gumpy, they used to battle each other in the 20. Right. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, niggas like, hey, I'm dead ass. It could be packed out. Yeah. And Gump will get to moving around. You know how they used to do when they foot to open it up, and they would literally open it up, bro. Wow. And they would entertain for a good 20, 30 minutes, just going crazy. Wow. Battling each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but the night it closed, it was a group that came out from Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it was this guy, white guy. And he was popping at the time. And the white guy was popping. Yeah. And he brought his crew with him. Right, so I got there a little late, you know what I mean. But it was packed out already. It was already packed out. And me, Z, B, the guys, couple chicks. I was dating a pretty ass chick from New York at the time. I used to have this badass rope chain with a big Mickey Mouse head on it, and my chick had the little bitty rope with the Minnie Mouse, the full body Minnie on that joint. That's how you knew who my chick was, if she had the Minnie. Because I'd take it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't shit. Let me get that. You know what I'm saying? So we slide in there, and I see dude, and I chunk the deuces at him, but he has no idea who I am. Fuck him. You know, fuck you. That's how he felt. So I go in the back, in the DJ booth with Dredd and Fred. And, you know, the guys kind of scattered out, and, you know, the party's going on. So dude and them about to perform. And he gets on the stage and he performs. And the crowd ain't feeling him. They booing him. So, and I'll never forget it. He said, all of this booing shit is getting on my nerves. Y'all should be happy that I brought my white ass to the suburbs. And everybody, boo! Then all you hear was, B.I.G., B.I.G. That's what they used to call me back then, B.I.G. Sean. Right? It was just, you know. So, you know, I'm B.I.G. and I'm looking at Freddie Free, and he was like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
What are you thinking? Pause the story.
Okay.
What are you thinking as not even that moment?
Right.
Are you taking in the fact that the people loved you like they did? Is that something that you recognize?
Yeah. I seen it. But again, like I say, I was doing other shit too, though. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was a supplier of things that I sold crack once in my life, and I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. You know, so my math was, the way I looked at it was more, even the dope boys smoke weed. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would much rather supply the supplier than, you know, supply the buyer of, you know, crack. So you know.
So they're screaming B.I.G.
B.I.G. on the stage. So I don't remember who it was, but they poked their head in the DJ room, and they was like, "Man, what you gonna do, Big Sean? Like, this nigga just disrespected the town." You know what I'm saying? Right. And I'm like, "Fuck it, Dre, put something on." So I go out, and it's chants. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. And it's a tape out here somewhere because it was a video camera in the place.
Yeah.
There's a tape of this somewhere. And if you have this tape, please produce this tape. Because there's a tape out here somewhere with it on there. But I walk up to the stage and I literally battled the whole crew. One by one by one. It was like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Each one. Destroying them.
Yeah.
As we did, next.
Right.
He go, I go next. He go, I go next. So the last guy and my cousin Lunch Meat, I think it was Lunch Meat that was standing right next to me. The last guy, he said his rap. I said my shit, but I went bananas.
Right.
The nigga snatched my mic out of my hand.
Damn.
And I don't remember, was it Lunch Meat or was it Kool-Aid? But somebody stole on the nigga. Right? And then the whole club just went up. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got to shooting outside. This was back when the foes was really foes and the GDs was really GDs. And you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that was the last night for 20 bucks.
That was, I believe, the last night for the 20. You know what I'm saying? The 20. We call it the 20.
Oh, because you went and battled 4 white dudes.
No, they wasn't white. His crew was black.
Oh, damn.
They was from the city. Now, this is the crazy part. And I want to say the names, but I don't want I don't want to say the names, but 2 of these people, one of these people are Grammy nominated now.
Oh, nice.
As a producer.
Nice.
And well, both 2 of these people are Grammy nominated now. Nice. And I actually, and they're gonna know who I'm talking about when I say this, but I've actually, the song that I was playing, that you were playing when I came in, the Carter 2 song, one of them actually recorded that song at their studio in Chicago.
Wow.
And I didn't know this until fucking 7 months ago.
Wow.
Because, you know, Bad knows everybody in Chicago. Bad is plugged in, right?
Sure.
So Bad was like, you know, that was such and such and such and such that night. I was like, bullshit. And it was so enough. I actually interviewed one of them when I did the Legal Dope radio show. I interviewed one of them because they had they did some production for Keisha Cole's Grammy nominated album.
Nice.
So I interviewed him on my show. Nice. And I didn't even know at that time, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, as time went on, I went from being B.I.G. Sean to Quarter Key.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why did the name change?
The name change came, I'm going to tell you what's funny about the name change. My cousin, and West would go to the grave saying that he gave me that name, but he didn't. And I tell him every time, I said, no, you didn't, bro.
Right. Shout out to West.
But shout out to West. That's my right hand.
Yeah.
Dwight Lovelace, Kelly Lovelace, right? My cousin. Used to live behind the high school. Mr. Mike from Suave House came to Play-by-Play in Waukegan. And I believe Roy was there. It was a couple niggas who was there to rap, you know. And I've never been starstruck, ever. I mean, even to this day. Yeah. Because I always felt like I should be with them.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So they were always peers to me. So when I got there, I had on the cream outfit, nigga. And I walked up and my cousin Kelly was like, man, look at Big Cuz, man. Up here looking like a whole quarter key of dope. I said, quarter key dope? Legal dope, nigga, that's hard.
Yeah.
I said, I think I might fuck with that. He was like, for real, cuz? I said, yeah, man, I think I like that. You know what I'm saying? So I started telling people, nigga, call me quarter key, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, legal dope. You know what I mean? Because the whole spin to it was, I never was a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't sell dope. So legal dope, it just made sense, right? So that's kind of how that name came about.
Why does West feel like he gave you that?
Because he told me that quote a key. You know what I'm saying? Like quote a key, like how much for a bird? Right. Quote it. You know what I'm saying? That's what, and he stand on it. But what probably happened was when I told him I want to go with quarter key, he probably said, no, we should do quota key. You know what I'm saying? Now the funny thing about that is when I'm in Memphis, they call me quota. Man, quota, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird, but it means quarter, right? So but yeah, man.
So you did this venture, Legal Dope Radio.
Yeah.
And I've heard many stories about Legal Dope Radio, not from you, just from people.
Yeah, Legal Dope Radio was popping.
Talk to me about the beginning of that.
Legal Dope Radio was I had Shaq the God before you did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shaq was the first thing you heard when Legal Dope Radio came on.
Right.
He was popping some shit to a chick, and she would be like, you know, you can't come through right now because Legal Dope Radio was on. You know what I'm saying? And then the lead-in song was D-Lad. You know what I'm saying? 9 o'clock p.m. Legal Dope Radio was about to begin. Smoke with the smoking. And we did, Draz was one of the hosts at one time.
Nice.
SP was a host at one time.
Nice.
Freddie Free was just basically the program director. He got us all the music we needed. Kickstand, my boy Stan in Cali, he would call in and do the weather. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So, excuse me. Yeah, it was, and it got bigger because I started talking to this one white lady. What was her name? Bianca Pilar, I believe. And she brought one of her artists on from another country.
Wow.
And African dude, I believe. But she also had plugs with different managers in the city and shit. So I just kind of used her to get people on. Like I interviewed Ben One, when he had a big record out. I interviewed the guy who was the Grammy nominated guy. I interviewed Tia London, Traxter's wife. I interviewed Wild Style from Crucial Conflict. We interviewed a lot of people, man.
Nice.
And but the thing was, we played local music, right? So it wasn't just a me thing. I wasn't greedy with it. I wasn't greedy with my platform.
Right.
I would tell people, email me your records, and I would play them. We critique them if that's what they wanted. We had a hit it or quit it. You know what I'm saying? Where people would, play their music. We'll bring them on, introduce their song, play their music, and then we'll open up the lines for people to tell them how they felt about it. But yeah, man, that shit, we did Legal Dope Radio for about 5 years.
Nice. That's not easy.
It's not easy, bro. I'm gonna tell you the realest part to it is it wasn't like it is now. Like it was niggas had to literally call in and listen on their phone.
Yeah.
Or they would listen on the computer through the website.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you had nniggas literally, and he gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, but you had a couple niggas that would literally pull up to McDonald's and eat their Wi-Fi up for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like that.
Right.
And that's where you'd be able to hear my music as well. Because I would play, whenever we had a person, whenever we interviewed someone, we would play their song and then, talk to them a little bit. And then before we got off, we play one of my songs and we let them critique it. So that's really how that thing went. And it was good for the time, man. It was a good platform for people. Yeah. That's when you learned about the new grounds and, we played smoky shit. We had beef with different artists that felt like we should be playing their shit. Ace Coon.
Sure.
He was hot too. That's my man's, but he was hot. He felt like,
I always ask you about Ace Coon. And I always ask you about Ace Coon because he has this, I'm not going to say anything disrespectful.
Yeah.
He believes what he's saying is the fact that he is the highest selling artist in Lake County history.
Yeah.
What do you say to that? Not being controversial to speak.
I keep it 100. I've talked to him about that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would always tell him to prove it.
Right.
You could sell 1.5 million units, but if you ain't got no proof to back that, then you just saying that shit. You just you yelling out the window to people that ain't listening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we talking about. Now I know for a fact he's put out a lot of projects.
Sure.
But he's one of him and Smokey, bro.
Sure.
Are two of the hardest working artists I've ever dealt with in my life because these niggas 100% believe in their product and they get out here and they push that shit. You know what I'm saying? This was before digital download. This was before all of this TuneCore, United Masters. This was before all of that. You know what I'm saying? So these niggas literally pressing up CDs and getting out here and selling them. Now my arrogant ass, you know what I'm saying? My name just kept carrying. Like I don't gotta do that, I'm cool. I went to Memphis and did my thing in Memphis. I'm on a nationwide album with Skinny Pimp. I'm on a nationwide album with Lil Jen. I'm still pursuing the ultimate goal though. Like the ultimate goal is to be heard by the world. And my goal was always to be considered, by the time I'm done, to be considered one of the best ever. That's always been my goal. It wasn't money. It wasn't women. It wasn't cars. It was always to be considered. Because, like I said in the beginning, I listened to rap and I wanted to be better than the best. So as I got older, I'm like, well, I think I might be better than this dude that everybody loved. You know what I'm saying? So they talked me into doing the Legal Dope album. You know what I'm saying? Because Legal Dope was an album. I did an album called Legal Dope. And I know for a fact we sold probably about 10,000 units. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And it was crazy because at the time, I had tore my master quad ligament in my knee. So I'm sitting in the back seat of Ray B car, Lil Ray's dad. I'm sitting in the back of Ray B car, slanging CDs while Block Life selling T-shirts with my album cover on it. You know what I'm saying? And Wes walking up and down the street selling shit like we own Wallace. You know, in front of Ryan Ray's mom crib. You feel me? We right there, bro. Wow. You know? And it's crazy because a police officer told me he had came and he bought the CD. And he was like, he said, you ain't got no license to be out here selling this music, do you? I said, no, Right. He was like, well, I'm guessing this is for promotional use only, huh? I said, yeah. He was like, well, I'm going to give you a donation. I said, good looking out.
Yeah, he gave you the game.
Gave me the game. Yeah. So the next 2,000-3,000 we pressed up had, if you got Legal Dope, and if you got the first run, there's no promotional use only on there. Right. But if you got the second and third run, we had for promotional use only on there, and everything we did from that day on. Right? That actually built up anger because you couldn't sell CDs in North Chicago like I did. Really? Yeah. Like you couldn't stand out in front of North Chicago Liquor and sell CDs. You couldn't stand out in front of TP and sell CDs. You couldn't stand out in front of the gas. You couldn't do that because it was pandering. It was loitering. You couldn't do it. Right. I could do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I beat the system, and it was bigger than that. I just knew everybody. I grew up on that block, so I know the owners of IGA. Hence the reason why I own the Black Skin Video. I come out, I got a mic set up outside it. All of that's symbolic. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was able to do shit like that because of the relationships I built with these people being in the hood. I've never been a fucked up person. Right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't rob people. I didn't shoot people. I didn't kill people. I didn't gang bang. I was always the dude that did music and had the best weed. You understand what I'm saying? Even if I didn't, I still, put a tag on my shit like it was, and the confidence sold everything, right? Now, the whole time I'm the fattest nigga going. Right. So I was so engulfed in the quarter key image that I didn't even realize I was a big nigga until it was, you know what I'm saying? Until I was damn near 700 pounds. You feel me? Right. So,
which brings me up. Let's just move up a little bit.
Let's go.
You made a transformation from, as you said, you waited over that amount. Yeah. You said to yourself, you told me this story about one of your children saying something to you. Yeah, my daughter, yeah. Tell that story. Well, it was a lot of shit. January 1st, 2016. I went to a New Year's party at my sister's house, and I had on an On Chief shirt. Shout out to Ace. I had on an On Chief shirt, and I ain't even talk about Ace. Like they all are part of this. Yeah. Because I lived on Broadway, so we skipped over that because Broadway was popping. Yeah. But I had on this big ass On Chief shirt, and it was a big red On Chief, and I had QuarterThaGreat across my back. I didn't transition from Quarter Key to the Great. Sure. Legal Dope Radio is what did that because I was QuarterThaGreat. My host name was QuarterThaGreat. My boy Kendi Miller gave me that name. So, my brother was like, man, I know you don't like taking pictures, but man, let me take a picture of the back of your shirt. I was feeling myself. I had a bottle of the Fifth of Douce in one hand, bottle of champagne in the other. You outside.
I was outside with it. I had my little mohawk and shit. You know what I'm saying? I was feeling myself. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. So I turned around. He took the picture. Sent the picture to me the next day. And for the first time ever, I seen myself. I didn't like people taking pictures of me. That was another thing. You won't see many pictures of me from back in the day. I would always tell people, "Nah, don't take my picture.
Right.
I ain't like that shit."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I seen that picture, and for the first time, I seen myself. So the whole month of January, I went through this crazy ass. I did all the wrong shit. I stopped eating, bro. I was eating 1 time a day. I was smoking weed, getting as high as humanly possible. I'd eat 1 time a day and go to bed. I was depressed, stressing real heavy. I had a kind of a over the phone kind of, friendship with a female and shit. You know about that. We talked about that. And that's it, bro. I didn't really talk to nobody. I didn't really fuck with nobody. So February rolls around, and I go and pick my daughter up from school. And she gets in the car, and she's crying. She's bawling. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? She was like, can you die? I was like, huh? She was like, from how we eat, can you die? Right? And I'm like, yeah, but why is you asking me that? And why is you crying?
Right.
She was like, because we had a health day at school, Dad, and the mannequin was your size. Now, if you've ever seen a health day at school, they have this big mannequin with all of the fat and how it clogs the arteries and shit. And I would pick her up every Friday, and I would pick Christina up, and I go get Brooklyn from daycare, and we go to whatever restaurant they wanted to every Friday, right? So she was like, well, Dad, from now on, you going to Subway. We going to eat at Subway when you pick us up. And, so we did that. And then maybe a week or so later, I'm talking to the person. Yeah. And I asked the person, I'm like, hey, man, like, why you don't fuck with me? You know what I mean? Like, we had these conversations, you send me pictures and shit. Like, we got one of them type of relationships. Like, why won't you fuck with me?
It's the next level.
Next level, right? Yeah. Like, this is shit you don't get from people that you just cool with. Like, this type of opportunity, FaceTime, shit like that. Like, why you won't fuck with me? Right. She said, and I quote, I'll never forget it, bro. She said, you are probably one of the best men I've ever met. Right? She was like, but if you were in a different body, I would marry you. I said, huh? She was like, yeah, I'm shallow. Wow. She was like, I'm going to be honest, I'm shallow. And I don't think you can give me what I want in a man at that size. If you were in a different body, I'd marry. I hung up on that motherfucker. Wow. Oh, yeah. Wow. But once I sat back and I really thought about it, I'm like, she's the first female to ever keep it that real. Because it was never a problem. Bro, I've never had a problem getting a woman ever in my life. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, an old school player told me when I lived in Memphis, I was 19. And he told me, 20. He said, man, it ain't what you weighing, it's what you saying. You know what I'm saying? And I was always had an extreme, a high gift, extreme gift of gab. So I could talk my way in and out of anything. You know what I'm saying? So, but this particular person wasn't going, right? And, man, no lie, bro. I'm like, damn, all of this shit happening from January to February. I'm like, man, fuck this shit. February 25th, I believe. I woke up the night before, and not many people know this story, but the night before, bro, I ate so much shit. Like, I ate damn near a whole large pizza from Mike's, nigga. 10 wings from JJ's, 1 catfish fillet, and a 2-liter motherfucking ginger ale, boy. No cap. I woke up the next morning, and I sat in the mirror, nigga, naked. And I talked bad to myself, like bad. So I woke up the next morning, bro. I put on an NWA t-shirt. I'll never forget it, nigga. And I had a gym in my apartment complex. I drove over there. I got on the treadmill, and I walked. And I posted a picture. And that picture just kind of went hood viral, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And people just encouraging me, like, man, do that shit. People jumping in my inbox. And from that day, I went crazy, bro, and I never stopped. I got all the way down to 305 from 637. Wow. All natural. Wow. And then COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all see it. Yeah. I put on a little bit of weight. I put probably about 65, maybe 70 pounds back on. Yeah. But it was a couple things happened. I had a pulmonary embolism. I had a blood clot that shot from my calf to my lungs. I was, because I almost died, bro. They caught it like 11 hours after it traveled. And like they say, 98% of people die within 2 hours. My grandfather died from that.
Right. You said
So I said it on the song. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't know that until I was in the hospital. And my mom was like, so "That's what it was?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know that's what your grandfather died from, right?" I was like, "What?"
Wow.
She was like, "Yeah."
Wow.
So,
So 2020.
yeah.
You had some breakthroughs.
Yeah, bro.
You've been doing this for a very, and I'll say this, I've said this on record many of times,
Yeah.
I'll say it in front of you, you're probably the best rapper I know.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Lyricist-wise, period, point blank.
Yeah.
Cadence,
Yeah.
flow, vocabulary, whatever. You make good music, though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rappers who can't make great music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who make good music who's not great rappers.
Yeah. Well, think about what I said earlier in the story.
Right.
Before I even started writing music, I was writing other people's shit down, trying to figure out how they made these songs.
Right.
So I knew how to structure a song when I was 12 years old. Yeah. You know, and Run DMC.
Yeah.
You know, it was a swing type flow. And once again, my friend, not a trend, but then, you know what I'm saying? So, and then, you know, as it graduated, Bone Thugs and Harmony, like just different rappers. A lot of people say, man, this nigga love Jay-Z. It's not true. I love Jay now, but when I was growing up, bro, I was once Pac came out, anybody Pac didn't like, I didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't. Took West 2000. I didn't start listening to whole till 03, I believe. I was in Cali. I was living in San Diego, and that's actually where I wrote the whole Legal Dope album at a Friday Night crib, at his dad crib. He was like, man, you gotta come out of that bullshit, bro. Like you need to listen to dude. He said, because no other not, y'all got a lot of similarities, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He like, y'all got the same cadence. You know what I'm saying? He clever as fuck like you. Like you really need to listen to dude. He was like, man, he gave me an ounce of weed. I never forget. He was like, man, here, take this and listen to these projects right here. And I don't remember which ones it was up to that day, but it was probably about 3 projects, maybe 4. And I listened to everything, and I'm like, damn, like this dude is cold.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we do got a lot of similarities. You know what I'm saying? And because I used to have a real fast flow, but I also had a slowed down flow as well. And that's kind of what it sounded like.
Right.
But I was a fan of Run DMC. I was a fan of Big Daddy Kane. The people that he loved coming up, I was a fan of them as well. And again, I never rapped to be like the niggas around me.
Right.
I couldn't.
Right.
I wanted to be better than whoever was the best. So if Rakim was the best, I wanted to beat him. If Kane was the best, I wanted to beat him. You know, whoever was the best, I wanted to beat them. So that's the reason why now I could pretty much do anything, like the Wendy Williams movie.
Right.
The song that they put on the Wendy Williams movie, I did that shit. I wrote it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wanted a song that sounded like something that was put out in 88,
And
89.
when I heard it, I'm like, that shit sound like 1980. You know what I mean? That shit is there. That's exactly that sound.
And I wrote that shit.
You felt that shit.
I wrote that shit 3-4 months ago.
Wow.
Maybe 2. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And but I went back to, you know, B.I.G. Sean. I studied. I was like, all right, Zell, so this is what we gonna do,
It's
man.
already under your repertoire.
Yeah, so I went online, bro, and I pulled up 1989 albums, and I said, okay, Public Enemy, that dropped that year. Eric B. and Rakim put out an album. The #1 song on the radio was an Eric B. song. I want to say it was Check Out My Melody. Could have been Follow the Leader. My Philosophy by KRS-One was on that list. So I did my research, and I'm like, okay. And Zell was, and it's funny because Zell, that's my nigga, man, Ron Zell.
Yeah.
So Zell making the beat, and he keep looking at me out the corner of his eye, smiling, because I know he up there cooking. He got his headphones on, and he cooking. So he took his headphones off. He was like, "You got it?" I said, "Yeah, I got it." "You got it?" He was like, "I got it. Let's do it." So we recorded it, and it was easy. It was you know, recorded that shit. I wrote the shit in like 10, 15 minutes. It took us another maybe 8, 9 minutes to record it. 28, maybe 30 minutes total.
Wow.
You know.
And what was it like reuniting with Bad and Runzel? Because I don't know if you've been. I'm sure you've been cordial in conversation
Right.
and working, but now you're at an ascension.
Yeah.
Going back to level 2. How was that?
The crazy part about it is, and it's so much shit I left out. Like it's so many. Like I had an independent. It's so much shit I left out. But I had my crew. I had Big Ike production. You know, you remember Big Isaac Rowland. Big Ike was a producer. He was one of the coolest around. Gump. I had Dread. My cousin Rufus Duncan. So I had my own team. You know what I mean? Like I had my own production crew, and you know, DBC. They kind of had their own thing, you know. So Bad and Ronzel was doing DBC, and they was also working with a lot of Chicago artists. You know what I'm saying? So we never really got a chance to work, you know. The irony is, like I say, the first song I ever did on tape, like, you know, that was for people to hear, was Bad played, you know, the strings on that particular record. And it's weird that it just came full circle. Now, Ronzel is my cousin on my dad's side. I wasn't raised on that side of the family. The Garretts, the Duncans, you know, Booney. That's my family. Mary is my auntie. That's my dad's sister.
Right.
But we wasn't raised with them. We was raised with the Johnsons and you know, on the other side of the track. And the way it happened was, I made the song 13 Seconds. The Laquan, about Laquan and all of the, you know, the stuff that was going on to the Benny Siegel track. And Zell hit me up like, hey man, that 13 Seconds was hard. I'm like, appreciate it, bro, appreciate it. You good? He was like, yeah man, I'm good, cuz, I'm good. He was like, hey man, what you think about, you know, coming through and doing maybe an EP that's on that particular, in that vein? I'm like, shit, let's do it, bro. I've been wanting to work with you forever. Right. He was like, well, I'm going to bring Bad in, too. I was like, that's cool. Let's do it. Yeah. So I went to the crib, to Zell's crib, recently. This was July. Right. This was June. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy at, because the pulmonary embolism was in July. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was still, I had just started working with them. And Black Skin was already recorded. Oh, word. Yeah. Yeah, I recorded Black Skin back in June of last year. Right. But you remember I would always run into you and I would say, I'm on something. You know what I'm saying? But the idea was to just create this music in the moment. You know, like when Dr. Dre created The Chronic, you know, it was during the Watts riots and shit like that. Right. So it was just about creating music in the moment. It wasn't about getting a deal. It wasn't about going platinum. It wasn't about none of that. It was just about getting together, creating music in the moment. Right. So I went through, and they were playing all of these beats, and I'm smoking, right? I'm off that one bag. Right. So I'm rapping to everything they play. Right. And I'm looking at Ronzel, and he just looking at me, shaking his head. He was like, "Dude, you still got it." I said, "You know, I never really put it down. You know, I dropped the Seasons album in 2018. You know what I'm saying? I dropped 2 books. By a great guy. You know what I mean? Well, no. You did The Gift. Oh, no, The Gift. You did The Gift. The Gift, like, see, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. Like, The Gift was me and Marcus. Right. Me and Marcus had just came back from Memphis. Right. Marcus was doing his album. Right. Marcus told me, he was like, man, you need to do something. Because Marcus and Trophy were tight. Right. Me and Marcus got tight. I'm just a real nigga. Yeah. So one day I pull up, he was working at the Villa. And I pull up and we had this conversation and shit. I congratulate him on his kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a real nigga, bro. Yeah. And I say, hey man, what you doing this weekend? He was like, shit, nothing, man. What's up? I said, man, I might need you to help me drive to Memphis. You cool with that? He was like, man, hell yeah, I'll drive to Memphis with you. So that's how we built a relationship. On the way to Memphis, he had never heard my shit. So he was like, damn, boy. He was like, boy, you cold. Yeah. He was like, man, listen. And he kept it real. He was like, hey, man, if my niggas don't like a nigga, I don't like them. So I'm not going to listen to their shit. That's how I felt when me and him was into it. I would not watch Snakes. Couldn't pay me to watch it. I was hearing it was good, but I'm like, nah, I don't fuck with fam. Right. So I'm not going to watch it because if it's good, I'm going to say it's good. I'm a real nigga. Right. I don't want to give him that. Right? So, you know, we took that trip, and on the way back, you know, get us a real nigga. You know, I had him in the trenches, and he'll tell you. Like, when I go to Memphis, bro, you ever seen, and Block and West will tell you ever seen Training Day where fam went into projects and they start doing this and clapping the bird? It's like that when I go to certain parts of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Douglas, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to North Memphis, right? But, like, little kids riding up on their bike, oh, quarter key, man. And then within 15 minutes, the whole neighborhood know I'm there. And it's like a parade. Wow. So I had to get out there with some real, like, my little nigga had just got shot in the face. He was out there with a patch on his face, like, and I didn't introduce him to nobody on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll see if he flawed, if he real. He held his own. You know what I'm saying? We was over there in off of 7th Street and Cedar Court over there where Gotti them from. Hearst Village. We was over there about where Gotti them from, and some young niggas was shooting a video out there. Shout out to Big Unk. Lil Migos manager, you know, the kid from Memphis. They got the CMG deal. Lil Migos manager, that's my man's. Motherfuck your head up. You know the song, the yes, bitch, is real. Big Unk, Migos manager, is the Memphis nigga rapping on there from Cartel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's my man's. Like, that nigga FaceTime me on a regular basis. That's my man's. Right? So we in the trenches. These niggas, I forgot who the niggas was, but Future was fucking with them niggas real heavy. And they out there with real choppers and shit shooting the video. And I'm sitting in the truck with my feet kicked up, nigga, no sock, no shoes on. You know, I'm chilling. I'm in, you know, a nigga kill you about me out here. You know what I'm saying? And get in the back seat, he chilling, you know, eating barbecue and shit. You feel me? John Hood was with us. You know what I mean? So on the way back, Gitta was talking about doing an album and shit. And I'm like, man, I might drop something. He was like, man, you got to do some shit that these young niggas gonna feel, though. He was like, for real, bro. Like, you got to do some of that one shit, like this quarter key shit that these niggas talking about. Because at the time, I had the single I went out there with me and Bread, though. Nothing and Nobody. It was a two-sided single. So I was out there. I gave away probably about 500 of them joints out there. And so we came back, and I was like, shit, when you dropping? He was like, well, shit, my shit almost done. I said, all right. So I wrote and recorded the whole Gift album in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And then didn't like the sound quality. You know this. I was at Lab 32, and shout out to Vino, because Vino was on my ass. And I came to John's studio where you was at, and I recorded the whole album on Christmas Eve. The whole thing. We redid the whole joint. Right? And shout out to you. You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck what none of you niggas say. I was the first nigga to have if you knew better, you do, but I was the first nigga to have that on wax. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
So we dropped, me and Gitta dropped the album on the same day. You know what I'm saying? And I beat Gitta. Streams, downloads, views, I beat him. He still talks shit because, man, I pressed some up. I don't care, nigga. This was an online competition.
Young nigga.
And I beat your ass online.
You matched it, bro. Like you got the young nigga sound, you got the young nigga flow, cadence, and everything.
In 3 weeks' time. You know what I'm saying? And I told you this before, like, my guys get upset with me because they like, bro, I've seen you conform to everything. Every single time music changes, I've seen you be able to switch it up and be able to fit. And they like, why won't you fit with these niggas now? I said, because, bro, I'm at a point now where I am the lane. So if we get in, we got to get in on this and make people follow what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than that. It's way bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, me getting known is important for Lake County. Like, this shit is very important. You know, I owe it to Freddie Free, man, soul rest in peace. He the first nigga that told me to rap. You know what I'm saying? I owe it to West. I owe it to the niggas that believed in me all of this time, and whether they not here no more or they working a regular job. I owe it to them niggas to stay consistent, stay good, and create my own lane and create the future. That's the idea, to create the future. So, back to Bad and Ronzel. They listen. He said, you still got it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I still fuck around. He was like, man, let's do a whole album. I said, hell yeah, we gonna call it Dear America, nigga, with 3 Ks. He was like, shit, that's it then, let's do it. So we started working. So one day, we recorded a song called The Revolution, Public Enemy #1. We recorded Black Skin, video out right now on YouTube. Go look at that. Go watch that. Shout out to Eli Snapped. Dope video. But it's a lot of, if you know me and you know my plight, you know it's a lot of symbolic shit in the video. Everything's symbolic. From Wes sitting in the chair getting a haircut by Lil David, who I was the first person to actually take Lil David serious as a producer. Like, I'm the first nigga to say, give me some beats. You know what I'm saying? And, Lil David is dope on the production side. He plays drums. He's dope. Wes' dad, that was sitting next to the guy in the purple, sitting like a player. You know what I'm saying? Basically was, I live in Cali. That's, that was damn near my pops. Like, but he was the only dad around for a while. So, Block Life, Bad and Ronzel in the bar, all of us in the barbershop, in Lil David's barbershop. Right. You know what I'm saying? These are all people that are extremely close to me. The nigga that I hugged, that was my cousin Timon. The nigga I handed the bottles to in the shop, that was Timon. Puda. Right. Ramara's son. Right. I've been knowing Ramara. Ramara lived 2 houses down from me basically my whole life as a kid. You know what I'm saying? And then that just, it turns because Puda and the guy who shot my video, Eli, they're cousins. Right? Eli's mom, Stephanie, is my manager. Stephanie is Melissa's sister.
Wow. No, that's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
So, and again, like I say, but we didn't do this shit, bro, with the intentions to get a deal. We didn't do it with the right. Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? Ronzel works with Melissa, of course. You know what I mean? Shout out to Molly. Shout out to the Retina Agency. Shout out to Stonewood. So we just had the idea, but then I did a 5.5 mile biking hike. I did full body workout. They had just opened up the gym so we could go back to work out. Yeah. So I put on like 40 pounds, 30 pounds. I'm like, man, I need to get this shit off. Yeah. So I'm in there like an addict every day, like insane. Yeah. And one day I got to the crib and I felt the pain in my calf that day. And I'm thinking maybe it's just a calf strain because I've been really working. And I tell my girl, I say, yeah, man, that shit feel weird. She was like, you sure? I said, yeah, that's, I felt it before. So as the day went on, and then I didn't feel it in my calf no more. Me and my girl went to the store and we had did something. And I had this cough real quick. And it's COVID. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So everybody like nigga, what you coughing for? And, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's when it traveled. So by the time I got in the car, it went from my calf hurting to my chest hurting. And it was so bad that I had to pull over and let my chick drive. So we go to the crib, and me being stubborn, she was like, maybe you should go to the hospital. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So it's probably just a chest strain. I worked out hard today. She was like, all right, well, call me if you know what I'm saying? So she dropped me off at the crib and she left. She FaceTimed me at about 11 o'clock. And I had an Android, so she Instagram FaceTimed me. And I never answer Instagram FaceTime. I don't like that shit. She was like, dude, your face is bloodshot red. Go to the hospital. Call the ambulance. I'm like, I'm all right. I'm going to sleep it off. She was like, nigga, go to the hospital. So I got up. I didn't listen to her. I didn't call the ambulance. I'm in pain like a motherfucker. I could barely breathe. Nigga, I walk out to the car, get in the car. I get to Walgreens on the corner of Sunset and, what's that, Green Bay? No, Lewis. On the corner of Sunset and Lewis. And I'm talking to my girl on the phone the whole time. And I rolled my window down. And when I rolled the window down, the air hit me. And I just locked up. So I had to pull. I'm like, so she hangs up on me and she calls the ambulance. You know what I'm saying? And gives them my location. So the ambulance comes and picks me up. They take me to the ER. They give me a bunch of COVID tests. Kept coming back negative. They was like, well, we gon', I can't figure it out. Another doctor walked in. He was like, I'm going to run one more test on you. So they filled me up with this liquid. And they sent me off into the CT scan. And when I came back, they just started pumping blood thinners in me. They was like, dude. You know You know what I'm saying? So they pumping blood thinners in me. They kept me for like almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
Something like that. But then the doctor came up and he was like, funny part to the story was, my doctor, I always call the same doctor, even though he don't treat me no more. Dr. Kensel, they treated my whole family. Like his mom is like 80. Yeah. And she treated my grandparents. Like we go back like that. So I always put their name down. Right. And it's funny because he walked in the hotel room. He walked in the room I was in. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he walked out. I'm like, "Hey," he was like, "Shondas." He had no idea who I was. Last time he seen me, I was almost 700 pounds. Wow. He's the reason why I didn't get the bypass surgery. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Wait a minute, you got the surgery?" I said, No. He said, "You lost all that weight natural?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Shit. Oh, man, I got to rethink this now." Because he thought he was about to come in a room and see a 700-pound man bedridden with blood clots. Right. But I was standing up. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I you know. And he was like, "Wow." He was like, "You should not be here right now." He said, "They caught this about 10 hours after it passed. Most people died within 2. Wow. He was like, "You're definitely here for a reason." And he walked out. 7 different doctors came in, said the same thing. Wow. Blood specialists, breathe out, breath, the people that help to breathe. All like 7 different specialists came in and said the same exact thing. Like, "Hey, man, you should not be here right now." Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I hit Zale up, and you know, I told him where I was at. And it's funny because the hospital was close to Zale's crib, so I felt his energy. So when I got out, I just, you know, I went and stayed at my sister's crib for a couple weeks just to make sure I can function, you know, without people. Yeah. And the minute I was able to do something, I went right to the studio. And it wasn't Bad in the studio at the time. I just wanted to record. I got a song called Nipsey Blue. And I'm singing on the chorus. And I went to Trail Gibson's brother. I went to his crib, and I feel terrible because I don't remember his name right now, but I fuck with him heavy. Yeah. I went to his crib just to record. I just wanted to see if I could still. I was terrified, bro. Like this is a lung thing, and I'm like nigga, like I'm in the room, like fuck, like this, like nigga, I might not be able to rap again. I wasn't thinking about nothing but that. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm terrified, bro. Wow. I'm asking the doctors. I'm like, "Hey, I'm an artist. Will I be able to still use my voice?" And they were like, "Maybe." Wow. I'm like, "What the fuck?" So, yeah, man, I was scared, bro. But when I got out, I called Fam, and I'm like, "Hey, man, can I come?" I put up a post. I'm like, "Hey, I need to record somewhere." So Fam inboxed me, and he was like, "Shit, you could come record here." And I recorded at his crib right there off of Jackson, behind Waukegan High School. And that day, it was a blizzard or something, bro. Like it was like it rained super hard, and I started not to go. It was a bunch of shit trying to stop me from going, but I ended up going. When I got in my car, once I got to his crib, nigga, the sun started shining, rain stopped. No lie, he'll tell you when he see this, he'll vouch for me. Excuse me. I was like, yeah, bro, I was supposed to come, so I did this song, and it's called Nipsey Blues. And right then I said, all right, yeah, I still got it. Because I actually sang the chorus. I can make 1,000,000 stars. I can watch the sunrise every day in California. It's hard. And I rapped. And then I had Nipsey. We took some Nipsey clips and we put it in there. So, you know, that's how that happened. Wow. So, one day, because we were going to put out the Revolution record. Yeah. Because of the times, you know. The Revolution will be streaming live. That's, you know, that was the catch. Yeah, it's real. It's called Public Enemy #1. It sounds like a modern day Public Enemy record. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And, like me and Zale and Bad, our formula is so euphoric, bro. Like, we would sit in the room. I would spark up. Ronzel is just this mastermind as far as, mood setting and hip hop music. So he would go through the catalogs and just play all of this beautiful music. And then he'd move and Bad would sit in the captain's chair and he'd put on some beats. And, I'd be in my zone and I'd be like, hey, let me get that one. So I recorded Melanin Love and Black Skin, I believe, the same night. Melanin Love is the next single. I got my homegirl Teresa De Niro from the city on there. So that's the next single. That's coming Valentine, day before February 14th.
Nice.
So I had an epiphany because we were about to go full out. I wrote out a goddamn script. Yeah. We were gonna do the Revolution joint and the Melanin Love joint together. And the Revolution joint was gonna be, I had different females that were gonna play. I had Candace was gonna play the female Malcolm X. I had a female that was gonna play the female Martin Luther King. And it was like a reverse role type thing, right? And I was gonna be the bodyguard for both of them. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, Malcolm gets murdered at the end, and I go out to the car and get in the car with Martin, and we go on this mission, like Queen and Slim. Shout out to Lena. Shout out to them. And that was when the Melanin Love record was gonna start, and then we were gonna end up in a hotel, and she was gonna be all in love with the bodyguard, right? And she was gonna go get some ice while I'm on the phone, and when she walked out the hotel room, she gets sniped. Wow. And the guy who kills her was me. But Malcolm's guy. Yeah. So people like, oh damn, this is crazy.
That's cool.
Right? Yeah, that's cool. And it was gonna be every time something happened, there was a kid recording it on his phone. So the Revolution will be streaming live.
That's hot. That's hot. I hope you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I literally wrote the script and bad to tell you, bro. Like they was asking me every day, like, do you got it? Do you got it? Do you write it? I'm like, I'm writing it in my head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then, if you ask Candace, she'll tell you, one day I woke up like 2 a.m. and just start writing it in my phone because I had the vision and I wrote it all and I sent it to everybody and they loved it. Nice. So, a couple weeks later, Dre was going to shoot it. Nice. Bad's brother. Dre was going to shoot it. So a couple weeks later, I'm laying there and I'm playing a lot of my shit. I'm listening to stuff from the Seasons album, the Clear album. And then I go into my drive and I start listening to the stuff that me and Bad and them is doing. And I'm like, damn, man, this is probably some of the best music I've ever recorded, ever. And then Black Skin came on. And I'm in that one zone. Right. So I'm like, this is the one. I said, this is the one. And then the part where I say, I'm black and my love is purple. My poppy died of blood clot. My TT is diabetic. I'm thinking about a TikTok skit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's TikTok fucking gold. So I have that thought, and then I go on Instagram and I see Illmind, the producer, talking about United Master just partnered with TikTok. Right. Now United Master was gonna be the new distributor that I was using for my sister. I'm like, that gotta be a sign. So I thought I hit Bad and Zell, right. But Bad will tell you he didn't get the text. he'll tell you that I didn't get the text. So he just went with it. Yeah. But I text them both. I'm like, y'all, I had an epiphany, bro. Black Skin is the one. It's nothing else that we've did. That's the one. So Zell was like, you sure? So I called him. I'm like, boy, and I told him everything that happened. He was like, oh, well, shit. Well, let's do it. Right. So November 23rd, and this is kind of dope because you're gonna see the timeline of how fast shit started happening. Yeah. November 23rd, I get an inbox on Facebook. I mean on Instagram, and it was Stephanie, Melissa's sister, and she said, "Dude, you my cousin?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." But I didn't know about her. Like right. I recently had seen a picture of her with my sister Selena. But I didn't know who she was. I just knew she looked like Melissa. But I'm, the Garretts and the Duncans, like everybody look alike. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So she was like, she said, Ronzel just sent me this message, and she sent me the message Ronzel sent her. And Ronzel, being the mastermind he is, I guess, he hit her up and he was like, hey, you should check your cousin out, man. He's pretty dope. And she was like, who? I pretty much heard all my cousins. Now, mind you, my brother, or my dad's son with the other lady, he could rap too. Jamil, he's pretty dope. Yeah. She was like, Jamil? No, he was like, Selena's brother. She was like, I've heard Jamil before. And he was like, no, Selena got another brother. She was like, no, she doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I made sure that I had clearance to say this. You know what I mean? Because it's personal. So she says, Ronzel said that you were fired. She was like, but fuck all that. Like, you're Selena brother? And I'm like, yeah. I said, it's 3 of us. She was like, really? I said, yeah, it's me, my brother Nudie, and Shawan. It's 3 of us. And she was like, no, that's not right. I'm like, nigga, yes. Ask Selena, she'll tell you. Right. So I guess she hit Selena up and she got upset because, she like, how did we not know that this guy was our cousin? Right. And then on top of all of that, this nigga's dope. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So me and Stephanie's relationship, we didn't really even talk about music at first. Now, mind you, November 23rd, probably about 2 weeks, man, she became my counselor. Like, I was in a real, at that point in time, I was in a real dark place, bro. Like, I was in a very dark place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just moved out my crib, you know what I mean? Trying to restructure my life. I moved in with my sister for a second, like, shit just wasn't looking good. Yeah. I almost just packed everything up and went to another state. Yeah. That's what I was contemplating. Yeah. I'm like, man, I'm just going to pack my car up and just either go to Memphis or Arizona or where my partner Pella at and, get that one other kind of money. Because all this other shit ain't working out. Right. You know what I'm saying? So she came at a great time because she was my counselor for a minute. Like, she had been through some shit. And she was able to kind of pull me out of what I was in. And we just built this dope-ass relationship. Like, we talk to each other every day. You know what I'm saying? And it turned into a brother and sister type thing because she was very interested in why my father hid us. And one day she called me and she was like, I listened to your music. I was like, oh, that's what's up. But we cool though. Again, I'm not in that frame. We prepping, right? It's all love. You know what I'm saying? We prepping. Me and Zell prepping to do this black skin challenge. We want to figure out how we could get it on TikTok. We working this angle. We ain't thinking about what's going on over there. Right. So she was like, she was like, I'm gonna help you. I'm like, okay. She was like, I got this thing with Viacom. You want to do something? You want to be in on it? I was like, shit, yeah. She was like, well, Wendy Williams got this thing coming up and I want you to write a song for it. At the time, I thought it was the Wendy Williams show. Right. So we recorded some other kind of record for it and it didn't fly. Right. And I'm like, man, let me see the paperwork. Like, what do they really want? Right. And it was for the movie. I'm like, Zell, she got a movie coming out, bro. Right. So I did my research. And I looked for what they wanted, and I recorded 3 records. And they picked one out of 150 different records. Wow. So and it aired. Wow. And that came out yesterday. You know what I'm saying? The highest rated biopic in Lifetime history. Wow. And your record was played. I get some of that. That's something. Yeah. I wait on it on the back end. I take it on the back end. That you better. I take it on the back end. I don't want nothing up front. I told her, I said, man, I'd rather take it on the back end. Man, I gotta shout you out for coming through, man. We had a great conversation. We might need a part 2. No, it's got to be a part 2. Yeah, we might need a part 2. We got some new developments coming. Yeah, man. Stonewood, man. I'm an artist. I got a partnership with Melissa. Yeah. I'm a Stonewood artist. Nice. I'm writing for different. You might hear me on a TV show. You might hear me on a commercial. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we about to take off, bro. We are about to take off, bro. And my manager told me to make sure that I let you know that it was all planned for you to be the first person to interview me before I take off. Yes, sir. But it's about to happen, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
We had a conversation February 18th, I believe, in the same in the same barbershop I shot the video in. Yeah, we talked about it.
Shout out to Inchworm.
Yeah. Shout out to Inchworm.
I appreciate you, man. Again, I wish you nothing but the best any way I can help.
Hey, man, you know, come on, man.
The game.
It's a position. It's a spot for everybody. Once I get to where I'm trying to get to, I just, you know, I got a plan.
Yes, sir.
And I had this plan for years.
Yes, sir.
I just needed the right platform. You know what I'm saying? So once I'm up, we all up. It's a win for Lake County. It's bigger than just me.
There you go.
Young niggas, keep on working. Don't try to be like anybody. Create your own sound. Create your own lane. We need a Lake County sound. And once I'm in, we all in. Straight up. I'm gonna reach back. I got a select few artists that I want to reach back for. Shout out to Badmouth, man. Shout out to Trap. Shout out to Trophy, who's also a Stonewood artist. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah. And he didn't ask me who my top 5 was.
I didn't, because my shit about to die.
Yeah, it's about to die. He didn't ask me who the top 5 was. Yeah.
If you can give it to me fast.
Because I definitely got a top 5, man.
You got 20 seconds.
Man, Badmouth always, Bread Dough, Novocaine, Badmouth, Bread Dough, Novocaine. No particular order.
Mm-hmm.
Badmouth, Bread Dough, Novocaine, Trap, Mojo.
Bam.
Did I miss somebody? Badmouth, Bread Dough, Novocaine, Trap. And I gotta say Trophy, of course.
Absolutely.
But Mojo, though, Mojo is one of my personal favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mojo, he's one of my personal favorites. But y'all be ready, bro.
Again, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Everybody out there, make sure y'all share this video, like this video, subscribe to the Crazy Ride Show if you have not, and make sure you follow my boy on Instagram.
QuarterThaGreat, THA on everything, Twitter, Instagram, everything, TikTok, Facebook. Follow me, man, and subscribe to my YouTube, man. We trying to get my numbers up, man.
Y'all heard him right there, man.
Straight up, black skin video out right now, man. Gang.